Today, Parliament pays tribute to our wonderful friend and colleague, Sir David Amess. I had hoped to speak in that debate in paying tribute to Sir David. But knowing Sir David and knowing the huge amount of respect that parliamentarians have for him across the House, not all parliamentarians who wanted to speak were able to speak. And so therefore I've taken this opportunity to share with you some of the comments I would have liked to make in that tribute earlier. I would like to pay tribute today to Sir David with a prayer given by St. John Henry Newman, a great British saint with global impact who was canonised in 2019. And the prayer is called The Mission of My Life. The prayer starts by saying, God has created me to do him some definitive service. God had certainly created Sir David to do him some definitive service. In my view, he made him a role model for all in public life and in society through the values he stood for: kindness, compassion, respect, humility and acceptance, and always working for the common good. The prayer goes on to say, he has committed some work to me which he has not committed to another. I have my mission. David's work was his public service, and he was the very best at it. The best parliamentarian any constituency could have. And we know that David loved Southend, and Southend loved him. Not only that, he was a parliamentarian who was committed to helping individuals around the world, who had been persecuted for their faith, who had been forgotten, and he had given voice to the voiceless. He always said to me, an attack on one faith is an attack on all faiths. He was a true champion for freedom of religion or belief around the world. St. John Henry Newman goes on and says, I am a link in a chain, a bond of connection between persons. The bond of connection between Sir David and his constituents was the strongest that one could ever imagine. With accessibility at every level, the footnote on his parliamentary letterhead said it all when covering surgeries. No need to book meetings on a first-come, first-served basis. As I touch on the footnote on Sir David's headed paper, I must say the reason I have his headed paper is because he used to send handwritten notes to colleagues when they had taken a certain course of action, which may not have been popular with the executive, but which was the right thing to do. And a very kind, compassionate, considerate colleague indeed he was. Sir David said he would do something, he would do it. He was a man of his word. You knew where you stood with him. A story that was relayed to me by a trusted source is this. A constituent had given Sir David some rosary beads to be blessed by His Holiness the Pope. When David was in the Holy See, he sought every opportunity to get the rosary beads blessed. We all know that when you're on delegations, they are fluid and things change from time to time. But David never gave up. He persevered and he persevered. And finally he had his moment with regards to the meeting with His Holiness the Pope. David put his hand in his pocket, and what he thought were the rosary beads turned out to be a pack of mints which he handed over. David kept his word to his constituent, and I think those who received those mints should know that those mints were very blessed indeed. Finally, St. John Henry Newman goes on to say, I shall do his work. I shall be an angel of peace and a preacher of truth. So David was all of that and put those values into practice in all he did. Our parliament, our country, our society and our world are at a loss with the loss of the likes of Sir David. One way to heal this broken world, in my view, would be to put into practice in our daily lives the values David stood for, and put into practice kindness, respect, humility, compassion, commitment to work for the common good. And my last conversation with Sir David was at the 1922 committee reception last month. Amongst many conversations, the topic we covered was Southend's city status. Mr. Speaker, if anything can be done, it should be done to ensure that Sir David's dream is made a reality by giving Southend its city status. And I end by again echoing what other colleagues have said at the very outset. Our thoughts and our prayers are with Sir David's family at this very difficult time. Till we meet again, Sir David.